All right, the first thing I always like to do, since we're talking about Mobile Manager, is do what I call the tablet tour. And what I've done here is I have my tablet right now on my computer screen. So you see my cursor moving back and forth. And one of the reasons I like to do it this way is because my cursor basically is going to be my finger. So as I'm talking and demonstrating, if you follow that cursor, you're going to see where my finger's tapping on that. And here's just the one thing, is occasionally I might say click when I really mean tap, so you'll understand that. All right, so the tablet tour. So again, the work in progress, or what I like to call my Mobile Manager menu here. Tap on that and open up the menu. The first thing that you see on the menu here is who the tablet is assigned to. If you tap on that, you have the ability of changing the assignment just by doing this. Tap right on this little triangle here, and everybody that's listed in your management system is available to be assigned to that tablet. And it's kind of important to assign a tablet to each individual, be it a service writer or a technician, just for the fact that when you're sending chat communications back and forth and you have different displays going on, it identifies who that individual is. So in this case here, we're going to assign this one to Bobby. And once I assign it to Bobby, all I have to do is OK, and he's in. It's now Bobby's tablet. As you can see, it's Bobby's tablet. Okay, simple enough. The next screen that we have down on the menu here is work in progress. And this is where we're going to be doing most of our work and spending most of our time today. So I'm actually going to come back to that because I want to get into it and just follow through with it. The schedule. What this does for our writer customers is that if you have any appointments today, you can take a quick look in here and see what's showing up today, what you had yesterday, what you got coming in tomorrow. So like if a customer were to drive up and you're actually going to go out and meet and greet them and you want to know how many jobs are still coming in and what time they got, you can look in the schedule here and see if you can handle what the customer is requesting and give them an idea how long it's going to take. So it's only jobs that are waiting, appointments that are still waiting to come in. Team chat. This is where I talked about where you want to identify each tablet, because when you send a message out, the team chat's going to say who it's coming from. As you can see, Bobby has sent a couple out here in the past. It's going to time and date those things. And we want to do that because like when your communications are going out to everybody, so it'd be great for individuals to know who it's going to and who it's coming from, etc. And all you have to do on this screen here is just tap on this line down here and put in your whatever your text message is. Maybe today we're having a lunch meeting. All right, so you put that in there using the tablet, click the send button there, and that message goes out to everybody, including the PCs that have Message Manager on it and they've turned on the team chat messaging system. A window will pop up on here showing that that message was delivered to everybody. And there it is. So team chat, what you're seeing here, this is on the PC. What you saw in the background, this is my tablet. So whatever I was doing on the PC, that popped up on top of. So you can see as I go back through there, or if I go back to our writer, that just pops up on top. So that's chat. And chat's a great way to stop that walk to talk, and also it keeps the text in the bay and keeps things moving. So use that to the best of your ability, and be sure you identify who's who on the tablets to send that. The next part of the menu here is the general settings for the tablet. When we tap here, it opens our settings screen. And what you see on the tablet here is the server configuration. And very basically, our computers are all assigned addresses and port numbers. So each tablet and each computer has an address and a port number. And why it's important for us to know about this is because occasionally Windows has an update or a power outage happens or something happens, and these addresses can shift or change. If that happens, the tablet's not going to communicate. So no matter what you do on the tablet, you're not going to be able to have the tablet communicate to the computer, so you're kind of lost. Because we understand that as a possibility, what we've done is we've built in the scan settings code. On the tablet, you tap on here, and it's going to actually open up the camera. What I'm going to do here is show you tapping on here and opening up the camera. And you'll see my wall and that plug right there. And what we're going to do is aim that at a screen that we get out of settings in Report Pro. So we're going to go down onto our PC. We're going to go to our settings screen in Report Pro. And you see this mobile config here? I'm going to say yes. What this does is going to take the address on my computer and the port, and builds it into this QR code that you see here. And when the camera is on, we're going to point the camera and the tablet right at this, and it's going to actually absorb. It's going to pull this information across and reestablish that connection. So it's an important thing for you and your technicians all to be aware of, because the tablets will occasionally stop communicating because the IP address changes. And it's not something you have control over. It's just one of those things that's going to happen randomly. So one of the first things, if communications does not seem to be working, is to tap on that on the tablet, scan this in, give it a few moments to absorb itself, and voila, you should be in business. Okay, so let's go back there. So again, that's tap on there, open the camera, scan that, and all this stuff should automatically fill in. As you can see, this is a demonstration computer, but in your computer, you should have, and on your tablet, you should have all this information in. If you're using a loop sticker computer, that's what name should be there. Key tag computer name should be there. And Report Pro, if you're doing estimates and invoices, whatever computer that is there. I'm going to shut my message manager off. Mind you, you shouldn't do this during the day because it's going to eliminate all your text messages going back and forth, but I'm going to shut it off because I don't want to interrupt with today's lesson. So here you should have the information. If you're having a separate key tag computer for printing, there should be two different computer names. If you're using the same computer for both, you put that in there and you're going to print both. Same name, same name. And wherever your invoices and whatnot go, that's what's going to be down here. The only thing I would suggest is copy that information, because if something should happen, it doesn't usually burp with this, but sometimes the computer might lose this info. If you know what it is and it disappears, you can just go and tap it and type it right back in and be back in business before you can say what the heck happened. All right. Inspection. When you're doing an inspection, you want to make sure any inspections here will look into the vehicle history. And what that does is it looks to see if we're doing an inspection line on something that maybe we checked out a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever. When we get through the inspection sheets, I will show you that there. Repair information. Who do you have access to? Do you have a license for ProDemand, ShopKeep Pro, or All Data? Whichever one that you have, you click on here. You're going to have to enter your shop information, your license information, and your password. And then you should be able to access that repair information right from the tablet. And this is a big thing for your technicians. I want you to think about this, that no longer will they go to a central computer where someone's on Facebook, or they have to print something out and there's no paper, then there's no ink or whatever. If you give them the access right here on the tablets, they don't have to stand in line anymore. They're going to have the information right in their bay, and it's not going to be an issue. Barcode scanning. Older tablets used to have a light. And because their cameras were not that good, they needed their light. So this is checked if you're still using one with a camera light, but you'll find most of them do not have any more. And barcodes, when you're reading the VIN numbers and other things with the camera on the tablet, it may have some issues when there's white spaces in there. So selecting that should automatically make that better. So you can see they're automatically selected right here. So what you just saw is the settings screen. All right, great. And again, feel free to ask any questions you have. And let's carry on. All right, back to work in progress. The first thing is about work in progress. Again, it should be showing everything that you have in your main management system in the background there. Everything on here is going to be right on the tablet, okay? And we're going to go to the far right menu to start with, because that controls how we view what's on here. So tapping on the vertical three dots. First thing I want to make you aware of, if the tablets aren't communicating, before you go and do that whole config setting thing that I did, hit the refresh button here. And what that does is sends the tablet, makes a message, goes out, and talks to the computer, goes, yo, is there anything new I need to know? And when you tap here, if there's any new information, it should appear right here on the tablet. You hit refresh, and that little circle appears and just keeps going around and around. That's definitely a sign to go try the configuration again that I showed you in the settings screen. The other thing here is, how do you want to display your work in progress? Well, when we tap here, it opens up this window. And if we want to display estimates and repair orders, we check either. If we want to just show one or the other, deselecting it will not show that. We can sort how this lays out. So you tap here. by customer name, vehicle order number, order type, status, etc. Anything that's on this list, all you have to choose. I prefer, and it's up to me, this is my preference, is promise date, because I want to know which jobs need to be done first. So when I select that, it's going to force the jobs that need to be done first to the top of the list and go backwards in chronological order. The other thing that we can do here is filter it by technician. If your shop has specific technicians assigned to specific service advisors, maybe that's all you want to do. If you're a service advisor and Bob's your tech, you can select that, and when you hit OK, all this kicks in. As you can see, Bob has no work today. So you can set it up where just a certain tech sees his or own work. Of course, the tablet's going to be assigned to them and everything of that sort. So anybody on this list, that can be assigned to. And that there displays your list as it is. And right now, in the order that the vehicles need to be done. And our software actually does look that if a vehicle is due at 3 o'clock as opposed to another one being done at 5, it's going to make that difference. Our information takes it from our writer. That's where the promise date is. So that's one of the things to understand about our software. Everything that you see us put on the tablet is taken from our writer. So that promise date is not set on the tablet. It's set inside our writer. Now, if we're writing a customer, how do you put it in our writer? All right, let's take a look at that. Let's go into our writer. Let's open some customer up here. Let's take a look at the customer's visit for today and see what we got going on here. Times arrived right here. All right, you see where I'm at here, Kim? This is the main screen that comes up initially. And then you go down here to service request and parts. You see here where the promise is. That's what you're going to punch in. And you're going to put your time in, your weight right there, and set it up for whatever you need to do right there. So there you go. And as you put these in with the different times and whatnot, and you have that display on the tablet, whichever ones are due. Like if this job was due at 1:16, that's going to be at the top of the rack. Yeah, and that's one of the things I will suggest to you. Do a little research, and I'm going to mention a couple of things here that what we find is a lot of our shops, and please don't take this the wrong way because these management systems are crazy. We find some shops that don't even use half what their management system does, and because we use the management system and its information, the less efficiently you use that management system, our stuff doesn't work so well. So the better you use the management system, the better our stuff works. All right, so we found out how to set up our display, and everything's good with there. If we need to search for a specific vehicle on that display, you can see I have a pretty heavy list here, and I want to find somebody here. So let's say I'm looking for a customer, and I want to find them. I can type their name right in here in the tablet, and I think I misspelled the name Campbell. Let's try to use one that I can actually spell. So you can search your full work in progress just by tapping it in and hitting the search button. And it's going to find out one vehicle right there. So again, if you have a lot of stuff hanging out there, that makes life easier. When you're done with the search, see this little X down here, tap on that, you get your full display again. All right. Now, any vehicle that's on here, let's take a look at one. Tap on it, and it should open it up. And this here's your work order screen, which is going to have your labor lines and things that you're going to be doing on that screen, and your basic information. And just by tapping in these fields, you can change whoever the person is that's on this repair order or on this estimate that you're working on. And as easy as doing that, you can go right through there and change them as need be. We're going to go into, as actually when I change the text name, I'm going to make sure that that person gets assigned to everything. I'm going to go through all the other details here because what we're going to do is a little scenario. We're going to write one up, and that way I get to tell you what happens in every screen so you can follow along. So that's what the plus is all about, and that's why I wanted to kind of give a little description of what happens next. So let's say we're using this to do a meet and greet. As I said here, it's pretty nice. We're actually in the mid-60s here, and it was like in the 20s 2 days ago. So if I had a shop, I might be looking out the door and seeing a customer drive on the lot. So think about how I can use this technology to write a customer up. So I see a customer drive on the lot, I tap on the plus sign here, and it gives me a variety of ways of searching for that customer. Now, anyone that's in my database, anyone that's been in my shop before, I can search for it right here. I can search by name, license, or VIN number. But obviously, the thing we're going to be able to see the best from the distance is the license. So I tap on there. And this customer is a pretty cool one because he has an easy license to remember. The guy sells beds. Z. All right, so I go in there, type in his, tap in his thing. There it is, John Burkhauser. Well, that's me. And my Mercedes-Benz. Boy, I wish. Anyway, so today John came in today, and here's the cool thing about this is I walk up, I see it is the Mercedes-Benz. I tap on the vehicle. I can start the order. Now, mind you, if the vehicle and this customer's never been here, I'm not going to be able to search it by license plate. But if it's a new customer, we have the ability to put new vehicles and customers in right at the tablet here. So you see how that 3-dot menu changes with the screen that we're in. But we're going to go with the scenario that John's bringing his Mercedes in, so we go through the whole process. Tap here to start an order. So the first thing is going to open us up to our order screen. And of course, one of the most important pieces of information that we should always put in is the mileage. I don't understand a whole lot of shops not doing that. So while I'm here, let's put in mileage. So one of the first things we want you to do is put the mileage in. You'll be amazed at how many shops don't do this. And we just actually had one of our employees the other day come up to me and ask me some information. When I looked on their paperwork, there was no mileage. He can get one of the tablets that uses a phone connection. And if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, you know how your phone can be used on the internet. Well, they have tablets that use a phone connection. You can't actually make phone calls from them, but they belong to a phone carrier. And our service and software will work with that. So as you guys on the road and picking up cars, this is a perfect example. He drives up behind it, types in the 4 Z's, he identifies the customer as the person he's supposed to be picking up. So yes, that is a possibility. You're just going to have to get one of those tablets with the cell phone connection enabled. So yeah, and feel free to ask questions. Actually, you know what? That is yet another way of going. Some people get a thing called MiFi, M-I-F-I, and we actually use it too. And again, it connects to the cell phone service, but any tablet that's within 30 feet of it or any type of device that uses Wi-Fi can hook into that, and yes, you can communicate back to your shop. There might be some adjustments that have to be made. Our technical people here can do that, but we do have on-the-road companies doing this. And the cost for those MiFis and the amount of data that's being used is minimal. So yes, definitely look, do a little more research into that. But we can handle. All we have to do is, if you have a tablet already configured, all you have to do is get your Wi-Fi and make sure you get it where it connects to your system, and you're good to go. So yes, you can have your tow truck guys start the repair order while I was on the road. And wow, think about that angle. You've just given me more to my scenario. Let's pretend it's the tow truck and see how I can deal with this. So anyway, you may not have a service advisor available, but maybe you can put a name in there called tow or whatever you want to do. So we're going to assign it to Greg. The technician, we don't need to assign anybody to it right now. We can actually leave that, or you can put the sublet in there just to mark that it's a tow-in or something of that sort. And then the promise time. Now this is going to fall in. See how it's actually showing our actual Eastern time right here? You can actually put your promise time in here on the tablet. So a tow job, you may not be so important to do that because you're towing it in unexpectedly. But just to show you, if I was writing a customer up in the parking lot, I can put that in. So there's 5 p.m. today, hit OK, and that's the promise time. And that will write into that screen that I showed you. And here, if we're putting in any kind of notes and the tablet, let me see if this one does it. Nope. Some tablets, this one that I'm using today, does not support speech-to-text, but you can put in tow-in. So you know that that's where it's coming from and where it's going. So I'm going to have to probably stray away from that demonstration for doing towing because it's not going to work with everything else that I want. But while we're in the screen here and we're going through, okay, what's sending me to do that? Where did Burkhauser go? He's probably at the lower end of the list. Let's do this search. Let's get back to Burkhauser. Let's get in there. Continue with him. Okay. While we're going to go back to the driving on a lot bit because if I try to do the towing thing, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot of things. So what's the car coming in for? Well, if it doesn't have an appointment already, what you do is you just go right to that plus symbol right there, tap on the jobs, And these are the jobs that you have in your system here, and you can scroll through the list. For example, this person might be in for an alignment today, and it's a 4-wheel alignment. Hit that, and you can see what we're doing is out by the vehicle with the customer right there after having a nice introduction with them and talking and saying, hey, how you doing today, Mr. Berghauser? Glad to see you back. We can start going over the details of what Mr. Berghauser wants to get done today. So as we're going through this list here, we can add things up here. You want a brake inspection today? All right, great, we can do that for you. And again, this is all just a few taps on the tablet, and this is all coming right out of your management system. Air filter, okay, let's do that too. And of course, we have to have an air filter thingy here. Okay, have an air filter, cool. All right, nice. So as you can see, what I'm doing is building a repair order. And one of the reasons I don't assign a technician right away is because maybe I have one technician that does the alignments and other technicians do the other work. And I'm going to be able to assign one person to this job and other people to those other things. So that's a great thing. Also, while I'm out by the car with Mr. Berghauser and I'm standing by it, I can walk around the car and start looking at it. And on top of that, look what I have here. Any recommendations that we've made on this car in the past are readily available right now, right here in front of me. So like if I haven't seen this guy since back in September and I recommend replacing all the belts and he didn't do it, I can remind him and we can pop the hood up and we can take a look at it and say, hey, this is why we need to replace your belts. You're very fortunate you've gone this far. So you have all your recommendations readily available right now, right in front of you. So go over these details, go over what he wants, and if he says that he wants to do the belts, go back to the main screen here, go to the plus symbol and add your belts. While we're on the vehicle screen here, if it's a brand new customer, someone that just came in, we have the ability of decoding the VIN number. When we tap here, it turns the camera on our tablet, and we can go out to the car with that code on it, and we can decode the VIN. So just to give you a quick demo, it's not going to work because I'm using this. See, you can't scan that code there because it's not an actual VIN. But if I did this on a real car, it would scan the actual VIN there and pull it in. And the other thing that I can do here too is that I can't scan the VIN, whatever reason, I can't see it or it's dirty or it's distorted or something like that. I can put the license plate and state in and go to this right-hand side here and decode the license by tapping here. And our system will go in and decode. And sometimes we run into a little bit of issue, especially since I'm doing a demonstration on the vehicle with a fake license plate. But on a real situation, it's going to be able to do that. And it's going to fill in this pertinent information right here. And if the car has multiple layers of equipment packages, a lot of times that window is going to show up here and you look and find it's automatic, stay on your standard ABS, 4-wheel drive, and you get the right information every time. So unfortunately, using a fake license plate is not going to work, but take your tablets, go out your parking lot and start decoding some VINs. Also, while we have the vehicle here, we have the ability to go out to the vehicle and walk around the customer and stop the possibility that they might be, I'm taking this note out because it's for another display, there might be damage on the car. So if this is the first time this vehicle is in here, what I can very easily do is take a picture, as you see the camera icon here, and take a picture of the damage, and I can note underneath the vehicle memo right here that the vehicle has damage. And we're doing it right with the customer in front of us, so there's never going to be any issue about who saw the damage and when it occurred. So and here's the other nice thing about this. Get a deal with a local body shop and show them that, you know what, I'm going to be taking pictures of cars and I'm going to be mentioning this damage as I walk around the vehicle with the customer. If you give me your cards, I'll pass them out. You know what, the favor I ask of you is if I ever have a car in that they do claim or we do something, if you give me a break on the service or whatever so we can get it done. So you can see walking around the car is going to give you lots of advantage. You have all the recommendations. If you recommended tires, you can look at the tires with the customer and say, look, we told you you're getting a low, you're definitely there now. If you have state inspection like we do in Pennsylvania, you can see the stickers, show them the stickers are due. So you can walk around the car and upsell with the customer. Look at those wiper blades, etc. And even if the customer has been with you and has a good history, you can tap on the history tab right here and you have the full history available to you right there. And you can tap on a line and look and see what was done in the history. So when you have that customer that does since you did my brakes, or since you did this, or since you did a repair to my vehicle, it's making noise or whatever. Well, but having the history involved right in front of you here, you're able to look up and see when you last did those brakes. And of course, my system's not happy with me right now. It's one of the things because I'm using Wi-Fi to send this message to you. I'm using Wi-Fi to connect my tablet and everything, so we might run into a little issue like this once in a while. I'm going to pull in there, but you have full access to your history where you can take a look and see what's going on here. And if the customer did the brakes 2 years, or you did the brakes for the customer 2 years, 30,000 miles ago, you're at a point that you can sell them that inspection now and say, look, why don't we take a look at your brakes and see what's going on, because it's been a lot longer than I would warrant that. Move on to the next screen. All your customer information. Take that all down, make sure you got the right phone numbers to contact the customer at. And here's the big thing that one of the things I'm really big on. See this little symbol on the upper right-hand side of the tablet? Tap on there and send your customer a message. I like to call my imaginary shop JB Automotive. And what I'm going to do when I'm talking to the customer walking around their car, I'm going to tap on that little arrow sign there. I'm actually going to send a text to my customer. And this is why I do this, Kim. You should be using text to contact your customer. Now, if I send that to the customer, what are they going to do? They're going to look immediately at their phone, and they're going to see who's texting them. And because I texted JB Auto, I go, wow, you just texted me. How did that happen? Now I get to explain, we're going to be texting you right now as a main way of contact. Now, of course, the customer doesn't want us to text, and they can tell us now. We can end the whole conversation. But you're going to find more and more people are going to like this. So here's what I want to do for you, Mr. Burkhauser. My company name just came up on your phone. If it's okay, why don't we put it in the contacts, because we're going to be contacting you with text. This way, we can send you a message and says, hey, we need to talk to you, and hopefully, you can see it right away and get back to us. Also, to let you know, in the future, we're going to automatically remind you of your future appointments through text. So what you achieve here by having that customer get that text, get them to put in your contacts, is the three things that I'm about to talk about. One, they opted in. The customer does not have to accept your text. And a matter of fact, if they don't want text after you start sending it to them, they type STOP and send it to your shop phone number, and that will opt them out. If they change their mind and they want to get it back in, START, start, gets them back in. But you got them to opt in by putting your company name right in their contacts. So when you do send a message and they want their car back by 5 o'clock today and they see that there's a message from JB Auto, aren't they going to be really quick in picking it up and looking at it and possibly texting back or calling you immediately? Absolutely. And third, you're using our Loop Sticker Pro software that's automatically setting those new appointments. We're going to be sending an appointment out to them via text, and we're going to let them know that that text is that's not a permanent appointment. If they hit the letter C to confirm it and send it back, they'll lock that appointment in. If that's no good, they can text us back, that's no good, or tell us when a better time is for that appointment. So just having that conversation and tapping on that little button right there made a world of a difference in how you're going to interact with your customer. Last but not least on this screen, if you have a customer that lives locally and maybe you offer drives, if you tap on there, it's not going to pull up an address because I have a bizarre thing here. But it goes right into Google's Maps and actually is going to pull up where that customer locates. So you can put your information and their information in, and you can find out exactly how far that customer is. So if you give them rides, you can pick them up, you can find out that the guy is 40 miles away. That's not happening. Okay, if the guy lives right around the corner, that's a different story. So a lot of great stuff on that screen. All right, moving backwards, I go to the history screen. Again, I can go and look at any history I have up here. But finally, before he goes, what we want to do today is make sure we do one of our digital inspections. Any previous inspections that we did are going to be right here waiting for us to go over. So we can go over the inspection we did back in December and show them the items that were yellow, because hopefully we took care of all the red stuff. So we can open this up and go over the details right now here with the customer and see how it's going. And what we can do, get out of here. I'm too fast for my Wi-Fi sometimes. So right now, too, as a matter of fact, we're going to do a new check on it and compare the results. Okay, so we're going to go in there and check on that and just add the inspection there. And what this question here is asking is that we've got an alignment, brake inspection, and a number of things underneath the order screen here. Do we want to make them part of this inspection? That's your choice. I choose not to for this reason. When I'm done writing this customer up and I have this inspection and I send it to my technician, I want him to do the inspection part of the process first, do the brake check and do this inspection here. Because I want him to send me the results on this. Then I want to go ahead and do that alignment that I'm authorized to do, that oil change and air. All the work that I'm authorized to do comes second. And then I can generate more work we want that technician to do first. So we want them to get this inspection. We want them to do the work on the inspection and anything else that we got. And then we want them to let us know that they're, all is good. All right? So that's basically how you write up your customer out by the vehicle. And once you're done writing up the customer and you grab the keys and you walk away from them, look what you can do as you're walking back into the building. If you have your printers set up in those printer screens that I showed you, you can print the loop sticker now. You can print a key tag, that's the tag that we're going to attach to the keys. Or if you're still using estimates, paper estimates and whatnot, you can tap and send that out there. So when you walk in the shop, even bringing the customer in, get them to sign that paper estimate and let them go. Tag up the keys and grab the loop sticker and put it all together so your technician can grab it right away. And as you can see, we offer an awful lot of good stuff for you to do while you're out there. We're not going to assign any different text to it today, so we're just going to assign one guy. And you're going to see it's going to ask if he wants to do all the work, and of course we can take him off of something if we wish. And we just assign that to Bob. I'm going to change gears here too. Bob's the guy we got today. What we're going to do here though is change this to Bob the technician to make it his tablet. Anyway, so I assigned this to Bob, and because we're going to pretend that we're Bob today, we're going to change. Remember, I'm changing gears here. I'm going to be a technician now, and I'm assigning this. So I'm going to set the tablet up as if I was Bob, and there it goes. Bob doesn't have any other jobs. I can send that chat message out to him, which I should have done before I changed gears here. And Bob gets the message that there's work available, and what he does is opens up his work in progress. He taps on here, and look at this. He's already got the job that he needs to do. So as Bob picks up this ticket and starts walking out to the car, there's a number of things that he can do at this point in time. First off, if there's a concern on here, some kind of repair or something that he needs to do, and he wants to look information up, he can tap on the vehicle tab here, go over here, and if we have repair information on board, and we got a license and everything signed up as I showed you earlier, we can go into our product here, and he can start looking up information in process, walking to the car. So think about the efficiency here, where he's not going to have to wait for the PC, and he's not wasting time. He's moving from his bay to the car. Here we go. That's why I always open it up a little earlier, because I know I'm going to have some issues here. But it's actually automatically going to pull the VIN number across, and we can do a quick search for the vehicle right online, so we can look up for the common concerns. The technician has access to wire diagrams, and me as a technician myself, this is the greatest thing. In fact, I have a wire diagram right in on my tablet where I can work right on the vehicle, right in my bay, full access to everything right here. I mean, look at that. Any other questions or any other information, service manual, etc., all totally available. So the technician can already start pre-diagnosing a vehicle even before they've touched it. So think about the savings right there. So as the technician goes out to the vehicle, let's return back to my screen here. Okay, he goes in here and starts working on the vehicle. He goes right up to the inspection, opens up the inspection and starts the inspection. And very basically, you can build these inspections, and I'll show you how that happens in a moment. But as he goes through here, what he's going to do is look over the vehicle and look at, for example, this is a Midas type inspection. He taps on here. It's now in progress. I do have my message manager closed, but a window may open here telling my service advisor that the technician's begun work, so we know that Bob got the job. And Bob's going to go through here and just tapping on these lines, all this pre-built information is already going to be in there. And He can fill it in as he's going along. And let's see, this vehicle's good through 6. Vehicle doesn't need inspection until 6/17, and the date's for good here. Just put that in there and tap that in. And if there's any recommendation, well, everything's current at this point. It's too early for us to do the inspection. Boom. He has just finished that one whole line. He can actually go and take a picture of the stickers on the vehicle to prove that he's doing. So again, we're building that level of trust and transparency with our customer. We can take a picture of the licenses, the stickers on the vehicle, and prove that they were good today. So if there's ever a customer question down the line, we can very easily go back to that. And taking pictures of the good, the bad, and the ugly are really important. So the technician is going to continue through the inspection, and he's going to start looking at different things. And it matters how we have this built in the background. When he clicks on certain things, he might find certain things that already have built in. For example, diagnosis and repair required. And because we found some lights out, we can put that in there. And you see it pulls up some jobs and automatically puts them in the database, and I'll show you where that goes. So let's, for example, he found a light on, airbag light on, for example. Tap that in there. Airbag light is on. And as easy as putting this information and working through this, he's going to be able to add and do an inspection. Of course, he's going to want to take a picture of that light being on and moving forward. Again, I'm in an office, so I should probably try to take a picture of outside or something like that. But here's a really nice thing, too, is when the technician finds something like that dead mouse, he finds a dead mouse or something, part of what we need to understand is that our customers don't always fully understand what we're showing them. So one of the other advantages that our software has and your technician use is that when he finds where the dead mouse is hidden or whatever the problem is, he can write right on the tablet and point out where the problem is. So be sure that the technician uses it. Now, if this picture doesn't work, that writing's no good, you can close out and come back in here and try it again. So there's your dead mouse, and it's stuck between your floorboard and your seat. And whatever you need to do, you save it, and this will become part of the inspection. So you want to take pictures of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and continue your way through the whole inspection. So I'm not going to go through the whole inspection here because we don't have the time to do that. But let's say the technician does go through it, and this is something I'm only going to do here for, the process of getting it done. He completes the job here, and he exits the inspection. He does this. When Message Manager open, your service advisor is going to get a message stating that that inspection's finished. Okay. Again, I don't have that open right now because I don't have all the pop-ups happening. So the technician now moves on to the other work on the ticket. He starts doing the alignment and anything else that we've been given okay. If he's still doing a brake inspection, hopefully that'll be done before he gets to us. But here's where your service advisor kicks in, and this is where we're trying to get that efficiency up. As the technician doesn't lose time walking back and forth, and he can send a message up to the desk, but finishing the inspection should send a message for us. So up at the desk, the service advisor gets that message and goes into Report Pro, goes to Tools, goes to Inspection Manager, and opens up Inspection Manager. And what they're going to have to do is, we got quite a list here because we're doing lots of demos, is find the Burkhauser ticket and open it up. And what we want to do here is start going through it and seeing exactly what the technicians come up and how he's done there. So, for example, there's that first inspection point that we did, and we can start going through there and taking a look at it. We can go through the next line and make sure, oh, look, he found something, he's pointing it out, etc. So we want to go through and edit that inspection. Now, what I like to do is go to an inspection that is complete to show you some of the stuff that we're looking for in the inspection. All right, so right off the bat, make sure I got the right one here. Excuse me for 1 second. Burkhauser. There we go. Back to where we are. So The service advisor's job is to start looking and see what the technician has offered and what he's doing. Take a look. There's a picture of the stickers, and at this point, 5/16 is definitely expired, so that's a great picture we have there to show. As he goes through the inspection, he's going to move through the sheet. We got a couple of different ways we can do this. We can do it point by point, where we can open up and look at each individual inspection by itself, and the pictures involved, and we can look. This is a great way for just simplifying things as you're going through. Look at the different issues. So a horn tone is poor, horn operates normally or whatever. Well, there is the horn that's the problem. So he's marking it on it there. If you don't want to go point by point, you can do tab groups or the whole inspection all at once. Again, it's your choice. If you do the tab groups, here what it does is it breaks down your license inspection first. Your visual inspection with your dash lights is next. And here's some of the important things that we want to show, is that your technicians, there's no question here for the customer. We want to take pictures that really let the customer know, yes, you need it. So we offer it, or they've already said they want it done, we can show them what we're replacing for them, so we're building value on the jobs that we've already done. Or if this is in cases of the inspection we're sending out to a customer to get authorization, look, better way of doing it is then showing them what the new one there is actually looks at. So you're building the actual trust in the customer, and not, geez, I want that. So you put it in the car for them. All right. If you add fluids, or you do any other work, or you recommend more filters or whatever, why? Because you got a rat's nest in there or something going on. You have all the photographic evidence that you can send to the customer. So what about my battery? Well, you got some problems in your battery here, Mr. Burkhauser. I want to let you know that's not good. But the good part of this is that when we tested your battery, it's still working. It's still okay. If we don't take care of that problem of the corrosion there, this is not going to be true. So look what we just did here. We've given the customer some good information, and we're showing them what we're doing in this inspection. And the other point I want to make is be sure that you show the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you see anything that's exceptionally good or whatever, be sure you show that customer that information, because you want to not kill them with a whole negative report. And look what we got here. Not only is that belt cracked, but it's very obvious that this alignment is out of whack. So when we go to the customer and sell them, he says, well, the belt's cracked, so just put that on. No, Mr. Burkhauser, not only is your belt cracked, but your alignment's out. You have over 100,000 miles on that pulley. I highly recommend the belt, the pulley, and the tensioner pulley, because if we don't do all three, the new belt going on is not going to last 100,000 miles like the last one did. So you're building, again, your customer's trust, showing them what's going on. As I mentioned earlier, top it off and show the customer you do it. Just think about it. Sometimes we're paying big bucks for a service, and they drive the car out, and they really don't feel a difference. You can be showing them how the services work and what it does for the customer as you do the inspection, and why you're making very local suggestions of what's going on. So as you can see, this is a great little report that has all sorts of great stuff and whatnot. When the service advisor is good with it, and he's found all the issues, the service advisor has a number of ways of sharing with the customer. Let's say that Mr. Burkhauser is waiting today, and he's a person that doesn't want to go out in the shop, or you really don't want customers in your shop. Well, once the inspection's checked here and you're happy with the way everything is, this open in the browser here is the way to go. You click on this, and it's going to generate the form that we're actually going to send to our customer right on the browser here. So you can show the customer the version that would be sent. You know what? Even though they're waiting, you can still send it to them. But up at the service desk, or even on the tablet sometimes, you can display this and show the customer what's going on and take them through. And you know what? Remember those pictures? The same thing that I just demonstrated when I was checking it out for inspection all apply here. I can zoom in all the pictures and show them the lights working, and I can show them the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, that's why we need to replace that wiper blade. You know, everything. So if the customer's waiting, we can do all this right now and right here and go over all the details with them and explain to them why we recommend doing certain things. And just like as if I sent this to a customer through text or email, see the little learn mores that we have here? Point them out, because if the customer doesn't understand why we need to do something or what the part does, they can tap on here on their device, and it's going to open up a little video and give them a description of the system that's involved. So you can do this at the service desk, You can do this sending it to the customer, whatever you wish. So it's a great method of having that conversation with a customer now about what needs to be done and showing where everything's going. Another point to make to you is the good and the bad and the ugly again. Have your technicians measure across the tread. This is 7/30 seconds or 7 millimeters, whatever is being used here. Write it on here and photograph it. And also when it comes to brakes, get some fewer blades, put them in there, those red, green, and yellow ones that you can get, and photograph the green and yellow, etc. What we're going to do with this series of pictures here is we're going to set our customer up for the possible replacement in the future, and we're going to show them the life of their tires. For example, look at this one. Technician measures, finds it's 9779. Well, there's an unusual wear pattern there. It's kind of like a little bit of a U. Tire is probably overinflated, so we can bring this to the customer's attention and show them this so that they can understand that coming back and seeing us for service on a regular basis is going to help. Is there a way to create videos for the inspections? At this point, we are not supporting that because we ran into a couple of issues. One, we were starting to do a little beta test, and before you know it, people were forgetting to shut the video off. And before you know it, your whole system's locked up. You've got this incredibly big file going on. So we're looking at it, but at this point in time, it's pictures. Now, one of the things I do suggest with the pictures is if you have something that has movement, take 2 pictures. Push the part to one direction, picture it, push the part the other direction, and take a picture and have them side by side where you can draw on them and show the customer the movement. And again, body damage. Take it away from you. Don't let it, show the customer up front and make sure you do that, and any other pictures. So you got lots of good stuff going on here. Show them the good, the bad, the ugly. If the customer's not waiting for it, and you want to text it, click here. It's going to generate a report. It's going to open up my message manager window. It's going to take the customer's name and phone number and everything right there. It's going to build this customized message telling us that we're going to look JV Automotive, your shop name here. And we're going to send this right to the customer by clicking here and sending it to their phone. And when the customer gets that and looks at it, we're eventually going to get a message back saying that the customer's looked at it. So what we can do, give them a couple minutes and call them back, or hopefully they've already texted us to say, hey, we need to talk, or they've authorized whatever repairs that we put on the inspection, and we're good to go. We can send it via email, but we prefer text because if you've done all the introductions, like I said, you're good to go. Email, about a third of them don't ever get looked at. Or if you want to put it as a note in the repair order itself, you can click here and it's going to put that little address that this generates right in your repair order. Now here's the next thing that we've got to approach. The inspections themselves. Where do they come from, how you build them, and all that stuff. So let's get out of all these crazy windows. We're going to go back into Report Pro. We're going to go into Customize. And we're going to go to Multipoint Inspection right here. I'm on a computer again. This is not on a tablet. I open a Multipoint Inspection, and this opens my customization screen. We're going to provide you with a whole lot of inspections already. And you can build your own from scratch. There's many different ways of handling this. So let me go through some of the details for you. Before you decide that you want to build one, I highly suggest that what you do is go to here. It says go to store. I've been asking to change the library or something like that, but store fits where library doesn't. Most people are not going to go here because as soon as you see the word store, you think there's money going to have to be involved, but there isn't. Here's what we've done. If you tap on there, the inspection store opens. Online, we've built a number of inspections that you can download at no charge. Matter of fact, if you look over here, you can see how many times each one of those is downloaded. But what's even better is we've given our shops the ability to create their own inspections, and you can see as I scroll through this big list, they can create their own inspections and they can send them to us, and if we find it's worth it, we're going to put them up there, and now you can download them at no charge. For example, this TuneX used car inspection, 197 downloads. So you can download any one of these. Let me show you the granddaddy. The granddaddy is this guy, Ira's Automotive Courtesy Inspection. Download it 810 times, and when you click on it, you're going to understand what's going on. Now I'm going to go through the details of how I'll build an inspection in a moment, but I'll show you what you're getting here so that makes a little more sense. So this guy went through and built this incredible inspection, and if you look, it covers everything. Tires, wipers, belts, cooling system, road test, starting, charging, miscellaneous. And what the gentleman's done for you is more than half the work. For example, if you're road testing the car and you're doing a brake system check, he's giving you the 4 possible issues that a technician might find, where he just taps one of these and it fills it in on the tablet. Then he gives the recommendations right here that the technician is going to remind. So if the brake's noisy, he's going to recommend looking into the cause or diagnosing the cause of the brake concern right here. So given the cause, the notes, the recommendations, and etc. All this work, all this typing's already been done. And all you have to do to download it is click right here, give it a few moments to download, and you'll see a message that says it's going to download. And that inspection is now yours to modify as you wish. See, I have 3 courtesy inspections here. It takes the shop name away, but this is exactly that same inspection. And why I'm here, because I don't want to have 3 in here. Let's delete. And that's how easy you can delete it, just like that. You delete it, yes. So now let's take a look at the courtesy inspection by double-clicking on it, and take a look at what an inspection is. So all this work has already been done for you, and let me give you an idea how this is going to affect you. For example, let's do the simple stuff first. You don't really think this instrument panel engages things is all that important, so you don't really care for this. And this is called a group. When you see it highlighted in green, and the way to look at groups is a certain type of inspection or the system that you're working at. For example, I'm looking at wiper washers group. These are individual inspections that I'm going to do for the front washer and wipers, rear wiper and washers. The group is the whole kit and caboodle, and these are the inspections, single points. So if you're doing groups and you decide that this instrument panel engages group is just too much, maybe we want to turn it into just one single brake warning light or whatever inspection, all you have to do is tap on there, delete the group, say yes, and it's gone. So the nice thing about starting with the IRS inspection, you can take this monster and take it down to the size you want. Now, you don't have to take every group out of there just like I did. But what you can do is take individual points out of there. So, for example, just to show what you can do, if you don't think rear wiper operation is such a big thing, you do fleets without rear wipers, well, you can drag that out of there just like that. It's gone. But here's the nice thing. It's still in your library, so if you want it back later, you can drag it back. You see how that little black line appears as you drag back and forth? That tells you that you can move where you need to be. Another nice thing about these inspections is that you can change the order of these points, as we call them. So, for example, maybe the brakes is not most important right off the bat, but then again it is. Maybe you feel like the car should be started idled and check for engine operation noises. All you have to do is click, hold, and drag it, and that's that easy to move that point around. So you can see how easy it is to move the points. All right. So again, you're going to name the inspection whatever you want. You can start with a group, what your group is, a type of inspection or a system, and then you're going to go down into the points. And you can see we have a points editor right here. So if I double click on this, I now can look at the individual point. I'm in the points editor. Remember those canned notes that I showed you? This is all the typing that you've been saved, because in order for you to do this, you would hit the add button here, and you would tap in the title for something, VR floor, and then you write the notes down here and hit OK and add it. Well, look at all the work that somebody's already done for you. And not all this is necessarily going to be in there. So you got your notes that the technician say how the brake pedal goes to the floor, and then recommendations, again, all pre-built and put it in there for you as a piece of cake. Now, as you get to the canned jobs, this is where you're going to need to do your work. What I'm going to do is show you what you're going to need to do. Is canned jobs are already built in your RO writer. So if you want to add the canned job, because we're doing a road test here, and we want to know what kind of jobs that we might get from it, hit the add button, go to this canned job here, and an easy thing to do is search. So BRAKE, look up brakes, hit OK. That didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh, duh. As I punch it in, it's doing the search. Other systems I have to hit return. So anyway, I look up brakes, and what it does is it brings up all the brake jobs that I have in my system. So brake inspection might be one of those things I want to do. Because remember, we just road tested the car, so we want to see what else is going on. And there's the possibility when we're checking the brake flow, we might find out it needs to be flushed. Hit OK, and now that's hooked up to those jobs. When a technician taps here, says that the brake pedal goes to the floor, he recommends an inspection why the pedal goes to the floor, and then we go to here, and we put this in, we're going to get a brake inspection. And then finally, the overall name of the point, the category that we're assigning it to in your database, in your management system. These are all those categories that live in RO Writer, and because it's a brake job, we're going to assign it to brakes. And also, maybe we want to put an interval on there, how often it should be looked at. So brakes maybe every 6 months or 6,000 miles, whichever occurs first. And there you go. Once you do all this, the brake system point is now complete. If you want to save any changes on the overall inspection that you made here, make sure you hit save and close. And if you don't want to save the changes, hit cancel. And my inspection's back to normal and everything's good. And you can look through here, and also you can make inspections for specific things, like an AC spring check. And here's one of the things I like, is an AC check where I can put it in order that I want it to do. So start the car up, here's your performance test. While the car is running, do a visual inspection. Check for any leaks, do an identifier or anything like that, airflow check. So I can build this in any order I want and make it work for my technicians. Now mind you, these inspections are going over all vehicles. So when you make one inspection, it's got to be flexible for every vehicle. So you're really not going to be able to add labor and parts because each vehicle is going to be different. Now, if it's an inspection checkout, like for example the AC check that I'm right here, I can put it in the inspection that this AC check pays the technician. I mean, I can put it in the name, 5/10 or a half hour, whatever. I mean, that can be put in there, but it's still going to have to be manually put in your management system or an RO Writer. So that still lives in RO Writer. The idea here is that your technician can do this inspection, and as you saw me earlier, tapping on, now you understand what's underneath the hood. If we go back to the tablet, now you can understand that when I'm in an inspection and I'm tapping on the lines, that all that stuff that I just showed you there is built right into each of these lines, and this is where all that information comes from. I mean, show you here the dash light one, for example. These are all the different lights that are possible, and just a single tap away from the customer putting it out. The TPMS light was on, the high beam lamp's not working, and they can tap through that list just like that, and there it goes. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted, and there it is right on here, and we can carry it over into our management system. Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, the recommendation is I show, well, let me do one thing here. Yeah, if the technician says here that the high beam was, let me back out here for a second. The technician's here and he says that the high beams aren't working, he can tap in there on the line and he can add information. Now, some of the tablets take speech to text. So if the tablet has it, he taps on there and he can just say, need, let's put like here. So as you can see, if it has speech to text, the technician can talk it right in here, or they can tap it in just as I showed you. Or you can have pre-built times built in there. That's up to you. Those inspections are totally customizable for you. So keep that in mind as as you start thinking about building them and making them your own. What was the other thing that you had going on there? All right, let's see. Give me a second here. Open this up. And the tech notes and recommendations that I just pointed out to you, Ken, those are all things that you're going to pre-build in, and I was showing you how to do that in Repair RO Writer here, is that when you're building these things, that you're setting all that up in advance. And again, it looks like a lot of work, but it really isn't, because once you set it up and you put it in there, I just closed it, I didn't mean to do that. When you build these inspections right here and you put in all those terms, it takes a little time up front, but think about it. Every time technician does a performance test and he has all these notes every time. Well, that's not a great example to use. But every time the technician does that inspection, that time that you spend up front is going to be saved by the technician just with a couple finger clicks putting in. All right, brake pedal goes to the floor. The recommendation is I need to look at it. The job that needs to be connected to is a brake inspection or something like that, and then the brake system's right here. So all that being pre-built in those inspections is what makes them work. You have any other questions? It's there. It's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle on here. You do have a couple of options to show you here. We're still in the inspection manager. Customized inspection, multi-point inspection. You now can build your inspections and you can import and export them. So for example, if you have two shops and you build the AC inspection here, you're going to export that out and send it to email or something to your sister shop down the road or whatever, so they have the same inspection. Or if they build one, you can import it right here too. All right, so you're good with that. Great. All right. What else? Inspection options. Remember that question that asked me if I wanted to take the jobs that were authorized, like the alignment and stuff like that, and put them in the inspection? I have my tablet set up to ask me. If I decide that's something I don't want to do, I can hit never, and it'll never ask that question. So here you're getting the chance. If you have access to SureTrack, that means a license and you're signed into it, and you have the software available. You can have SureTrack appear. And again, that may not be available if you don't have the licenses and whatnot. And what else we got here? Sharing. This is where the text message comes from when we share it via text. And you can change this up. For example, I want to put the customer's name in there because it's going to pull their information for their vehicle throw. It's putting my shop information in there, and it's putting the inspection information. You see the little question mark here? When I tap on this, again, I'm saying tap. It opens up the wildcards. And what the wildcards are, the words in brackets. This pulls the customer's information. So, for example, you see vehicles right here, and I want to show the customer that, let's see, we have the customers, what I really want is the customer's name here. So we want to make this customized for the customer. So when I go here, and I put in the brackets, I put in the customer, and then I put in a bracket, and I put in a space. When that message goes out now, and I send that via text, it's going to put the customer's first name, and be it John, please click in your vehicle, blah, 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 and one of our advisors will follow up to you. So, I mean, those wildcards, any one of these can be inserted in there and fill in from the database. You can do the same thing with email, another message that goes out there. The different themes that we offer, this is the one that's most popular, and I just right-clicked on that to open it up. You see a little check mark, that's the classic, and that's the one that's chosen. If I right-click, I can click and look at the other ones. If I want to use that format, I click on a normal and see that little check mark shows up there telling me that's the one that I've chosen. But again, I'm going to go back to classic, and that's my favorite world. You have the tablet, so you don't need paper inspection, and the rules and scorecard that we have do not apply to repair RO Writer at this point. So that's a lot of stuff there. One last thing, if you ever need any help, you go to the help menu right up here and go through here, and these can take you to different places that you need to look for any kind of help on Report Pro and also Mobile Manager. So Kim, are there any questions that you have? I know it's a lot of information, but hopefully you got the video. It's going to be coming to you. I'll stop the recording when we're done here. But there you go. That's everything you got. So you're good. I hope you learned something. Again, use the software to the best of your ability. All right. John Burkhauser signing out and saying, have a good one.